Okay, hello, greetings and welcome. So we're going to do some exercises on grounding, getting underneath your partner for Wing Chun training. So what I want my partner to do is drive his both elbows forward and stretch in this way. Take a back stance for me. Good. Okay, so we've got this first contact point of a double parry Paxao position. So what I want to do is my partner is just going to stretch from his middle finger from his core towards me. This gives me a line to a center of gravity, so I can feel the center of gravity. Now what I want to do is rotate the joints. So I roll the wrist under, roll my elbow under, emphasize rolling the shoulder under, rolling the scapula, pulling the lats down onto the hip and stretching from the hip, and just slowly getting more grounded than my partner. So as I roll these joints under, it gives me more grounding than the tension that he's giving me. So I have to feel his tension and then ground underneath his tension. Now, as I relax, drop the hip, stretch the spine, I want to relax the tension from the muscle to the fascia so it becomes a conductive, elastic force between me and my partner. In this case, I've asked him to give me tension from here to his core so I can feel his core. So really, I only have to drop under his hip to catch him. If he dropped down all the way to the ground, I'd have to track all the way to the ground to get under my partner. Okay, so from the Paxao position and cutting underneath, we can go into the Toxao lifting hand and cut underneath. And then from there, we can go on to the Fuxao. Now with the Fuxao, we're using the wrist and the inside of the forearm to roll and cut underneath our partner through this feeling of connection underneath. So change your hand shapes. You can go into different grabbing positions and stretch underneath. And then your partner presses their parry onto you, and then you relax and stretch underneath them from those positions. And you go through each of your shapes and just practicing stretching underneath your partner. And as you reach a point at which, yeah, I can get underneath, you ask your partner to ground themselves a little bit more. So you drop your hip, stretch your spine, you sink underneath me slightly. Now I have to work. So same old effort, didn't work. Now I have to sink a little bit more, and my partner can make things more difficult for me to cut underneath their root. And you can go through each of your shapes and practice rolling the joints under your partner. So this rolling the joints under their root will depend on how high their center of gravity of tension is, whether they're dropping all the way to the ground or whether they're staying in their core. Most fighters are punching from their core, so they have a high center. So start with tension from the core, and then as you start dealing with Tai Chi, internalists, and Wing Chun people, they sink down to the ground, and then you practice going down to the ground. So this rolling of the joints can be applied to every basic movement in Wing Chun. You go to the joint behind where you want the change to take place. So if I want to release my shoulder, I go to the scapula, I pull and sink the scapula down, and my shoulder connects and gets grounded. I can't ground my shoulder from the shoulder, I ground my shoulder from under the shoulder to the next connecting joint. And you apply this rotational method. I want to roll my wrist, I roll the elbow, I pull the elbow to generate rotation of the wrist to roll the wrist under my training partner. So you're always going back to get under your partner. Okay, so thank you for your time. I hope this helps with your Wing Chun journey, and see you guys in the next video.